On the news, South Africa apologizes to Nigeria over xenophobic attacks on citizens. More Nigerians indicate interest to leave South Africa. "36 missing in another Congo boat mishap." Hello and welcome to News Now. I am Fidelia Aguncha. South Africa has formally apologized to Nigeria over the xenophobic attacks on its citizens and businesses in their country. The apology was issued by a special envoy sent by President Cyril Ramaphosa. The envoy, led by acting South African High Commissioner to Nigeria, Bobby Moreau, met with President Muhammadu Buhari at the presidential villa in Abuja. They conveyed President Ramaphosa's sincere apologies and reiterated South Africa's commitment to the principles of Pan-African unity and the rule of law. There has been a diplomatic rift between South Africa and a host of other African countries, including Nigeria, whose nationals were affected in recent xenophobic violence on foreigners.
As I alluded in my opening remarks, there is a Pan-National Commission between South Africa and Nigeria, and on the 3rd of October, during President Buhari's state visit to South Africa, there will be detailed discussions that are going to be held there. I do understand that this issue of compensation restitution is part of the agenda items in the draft that the Nigerian government has presented to South Africa. So I think let's wait until the 3rd of October to see how that unfolds. But I can indicate as a lawyer that the South African law requires that all registered companies must have public insurance in terms of things of this nature.
Meanwhile, arrangements are in place to evacuate another batch of Nigerians from South Africa. Chairman, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Abike Dabiri-Erewa, announced this, saying more Nigerians have registered to be brought back in the next flight from South Africa. This is coming days after the first batch of 187 people were brought back on Wednesday following xenophobic prices on foreigners in South Africa. At a press conference in Abuja, Dabiri-Erewa gave a breakdown of the number of people earlier repatriated. She also reviewed what the government is doing to help reintegrate them into the society.
We received the first set, the 187, as you all know, at about 9:30 p.m. on Wednesday. Now, there were over 30 that were children, and what we've done is we've profiled them according to their state. So we expect the state governors to take responsibility for their citizens that have returned. Now, I'm going to stress one thing. Those who returned are not criminals, but they are very hardworking Nigerians, very hardworking, and they've lost everything they ever worked for in South Africa. So their only crime is being black and being Nigerian. Abia has 7, Anambra has 13 returnees, Benue has 1, Delta 15, Ebonyi 2 returnees, Edo State 13, Ekiti 6, Enugu 7, Imo 28, Kogi 1 returnee, Kwara 3 returnees, Lagos 7, Ogun 30, Ondo 6, Osun 6, and Oyo 23. This makes the largest number in the first batch of 30 from Ogun State, and the second will be 28 from Imo State, with some states having 1. So now when they returned, everybody got a SIM card and airtime that will last about 2 months, and some money for transportation. And Bank of Industry, as I speak with you now, has their contact, so they'll be calling them to come for the Bank of Industry soft loans, so that those are the immediate plans for them. Then as they settle in, we're going to profile them and do a needs assessment, because somebody might want to trade and you want to say go and do hairdressing, so it's better to do a needs assessment. Now, a lot of people have also offered services like counseling, entrepreneurship training. We're compiling everything, and the good thing is we have the contact, so we'll be reaching all the returnees on what I want to do. But the immediate thing is, back of industry will be reaching out to them.
Well, let's now talk politics and judicial matters. Governors on the platform of the People's Democratic Party have thrown their weight behind Atiku Abubakar's decision to challenge the verdict of the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal. Last Wednesday, the tribunal dismissed Atiku's petition against President Muhammadu Buhari's victory on grounds that he failed to prove his case. In a statement, Seraki Dixon, chairman of the PDP Governors Forum, said after studying the judgment, they discovered countless anomalies in it. He stressed that the tribunal's judgment further painted the judiciary in a negative light, and it is now up to the Supreme Court to correct the mistake. Meanwhile, senior lawyer Robert Clerk has dismissed the PDP's argument that the Presidential Tribunal ruled in error, saying the party failed to prove their claim before the court. Speaking to TV360 Nigeria, Clerk noted that the tribunal ruled according to the facts and evidence brought before it by both parties.
The tribunal goes by the evidence before it. And as lawyers, when a tribunal sits and reviews and looks at the evidence before it, it must go by that evidence. This tribunal that gave this judgment has satisfied all of us who are knowledgeable in law that the foundation of that judgment was based on the evidence before the tribunal. And I agree with them. I agree with there was nothing placed before them that will have made them to give any other judgment than the judgment they had given. What Atiku said was that there was a server. Okay. INEC says there was no server. We did not use it. So before the tribunal, he who asserts must prove. Atiku brought a witness and told the tribunal that yes, there was a server. And under cross-examination, he was asked, where did you get this evidence from? He said from the whistleblower, from a third party. You see, in law, that evidence has no credibility because it is what we lawyers regard as hearsay evidence. If you knew you got an information from a third party, why did you not bring that third party to the tribunal to come and give positive and direct evidence to that fact? You are relying on a person who got that information from a third party, and such evidence in law, we lawyers regard as hearsay and has no credibility.
Still, with the judiciary, the senior advocate of Nigeria, SAN, and counsel to Omoyele Sowore, Femi Falana, has asked the Federal High Court to grant his client bail on self-recognition. Sowore, who was the candidate of the African Action Congress, ANC, in the last presidential election, was arrested in August by the Department of State Services over alleged terrorism. The DSS subsequently got an order to detain him for 45 days. But in an application filed on Friday at the Federal High Court in Abuja, Falana argued with the corporation of his client. The DSS has concluded its investigation and announced findings. According to him, Showore's rights to fair hearing, dignity of human person, liberty, health, and freedom of movement are under threat and are currently being violated by the DSS. No date has been fixed for the bill hearing. Well, after less than a week in office, co-founder of Budget, Oluseun Onigbinde, has resigned his appointment as technical advisor to the Minister of State for Budget and National Planning. This follows public outcry over his criticism of the Buhari-led administration and his call for Nigerians to vote in a new leader in the February 23rd presidential poll. Prior to the re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari, Onigbinde had tweeted, quote, "I will say this for the last time, if you plan to vote for Buhari or you encourage him for another term, you really don't love Nigeria," end of quote. His acceptance to work under the same administration he criticized made Nigerians describe him as lacking integrity. Onigbinde announced his resignation on his Medium page, a link he shared on his official Twitter handle. He thanked the minister, Clem Agba, for believing in his expertise and stated that he will always be of help to the federal government in his capacity as Director of Budget, a critical fiscal transparency group. National Security Advisor Babagana Moguno says Nigeria-Benin border will remain closed until the objectives behind the closure are achieved. Moguno over the weekend said the border was closed to free the country from criminal activities, including smuggling, and to enhance the economy. He added that the issue of insecurity is worsened by a porous border which gives room for smugglers and smuggling, and that the border will remain closed until the government starts seeing positive results. He therefore called for cooperation and collaboration from neighboring countries to ensure the smooth operation of the exercise. The border closure exercise, which began on August 21st, was originally scheduled to be closed for only 28 days. According to Moguno, the closure has so far recorded success with over 100 illegal migrants and 117 suspected smugglers arrested. Well, moving on, Ondo State Commissioner of Police Ondi Andy has ordered an investigation into the alleged stabbing of some youth by a policeman, Taiwo Orishadari, at a nightclub in Akure. A statement by the command spokesperson, Femi Joseph, said investigation became imperative because of the distortion of fact. The command urged members of the public to disregard misleading social media reports on the matter and remain calm. He clarified that rather than 9 victims as widely purported, only 3 persons were injured in the brawl. He further explained that victims had attacked Orishade after he refused to buy them drinks at a birthday party. Joseph said Orishade fought back to defend himself, leading to the injury of the 3 men. Well, still on security, Nigerians are calling for the protection of girls and women in Port Harcourt, the capital of Rivers State, after a young girl was found dead in a hotel in Port Harcourt on Saturday. Eyewitnesses say the teenager was found dead with her hands tied with a white cloth. Her death is one in a series of killings of women in Port Harcourt hotels in recent time, hence the clamor for security operatives to protect women and girls in the oil-rich state. Addressing a group of protesting women at the police headquarters in Port Harcourt, Deputy Commissioner of Police in the state, Chuks Enwanwu, advised women against prostitution. The police boss also told the protesting women that they have made some arrests concerning the issue, adding that investigations is still ongoing into the matter. Well, you're still watching news now on TV360 Nigeria. We'll be right back with more news stories. Don't go away.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those, their silly lies.
And wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the go-to app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Welcome back. Let's now talk business with Oyin Adekunle. Hello, Oyin.
Hi, Fidelia.
So I hear Nigeria is set to hold its 25th National Economic Summit, and the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, has been speaking on the focus of this particular event. Tell me, what more is she saying?
Oh, you're absolutely correct, Fidelia. Now, unless Nigeria invests heavily in its human capital, education, and builds sustainable infrastructure, the country's expected prosperity may just be a dream. These were the words of the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed. Ahmed said this at a media brief with the Nigerian Economic Summit Group in Abuja. Tunji Oye has more in this next report.
By the year 2050, Nigeria's population is projected to hit 400 million. How will this population be cared for? How will the massive youth population of 65% under the age of 35 years be productively engaged? This is already generating concern for the federal government, and it will form a major focus in this year's economic summit next 2019.
This year's summit will be setting a new agenda for Nigeria to key into the fourth industrial revolution, as the summit sub-team will be focusing on 1, achieving rapid industrialization, 2, transforming education, and 3, managing demography. Discussions around the sub-teams will be driven by 6 identified critical sectors of the economy, and this include agriculture, manufacturing, ICT, financial services, creative industry, and the extractive industry.
Nigeria's projected demographic growth, estimates say, will be 400 million and over by 2050. Will probably lead to worsening economic and human development conditions unless we continue, but at a greater pace, to focus on diversifying, deepening, and growing our economy. And that must be at a rate exponentially superior to our population growth. To achieve this will necessitate providing required 21st century infrastructure, building quality human capacity, and creating an enabling environment.
The minister believes unless investment is made in the area of agriculture, ICT, extractive industry, and manufacturing, the country will struggle with overpopulation in the next few years. In the last 24 years, there have been a gap between recommendations from the summit and actual implementation. This, the minister promised, will be addressed.
The summit comes out with a series of results, and there truly has been gaps in implementation. So we have agreed with the Economic Summit Group that the result of the NES 25 will be presented to different levels of government. It has not been done before. So we'll invite the NESG to present the recommendations of the report to the National Economic Council that has all the governors, to the economics management team that has key ministers that manage the economy, to the Federal Executive Council, and also to relevant committees of the National Assembly. That, we believe, will enhance the performance of the implementation of the recommendation.
The Nigeria Economic Summit is an annual economic policy event in which the private sector collaborates with governments to chart an economic focus for the country. From Abuja, Tunji Oye, TV360 News.
The Lagos State Investment and Security Tribunal Office has commenced its 2019-2020 legal year. The tribunal is concerned with dispute resolution that exists in the Nigerian capital market. The chairman of the tribunal, Siaka Idoko Ako, said issues affecting financial securities and capital markets should be solely handled by the court, adding that this will further grow the confidence of investors.
The essence of this program is to alert stakeholders in the market, equal practitioners, investors alike, that ISA is alive, and to live up to its expectation, deliver the mandate, and that we are on board. They should assess the tribunal. That is their last hope.
The tribunal is a specialized tribunal. Cases which ought to come to the tribunal should be channeled to the tribunal as opposed to taking them to the high courts. And I think that is the essence of the establishment of the tribunal for the speedy dispensation of justice in disputes in the investments areas. That is why the tribunal was set up. It is expected that that will be observed when disputes related to investment matters are in issue.
Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Limited, NLNG, operator of Africa's largest natural gas plant, is seeking a 10 billion naira loan to finance its Train 7 project. Chief Executive Officer of the body, Tony Atta, says the company was discussing with the country's top 10 lenders, including Guarantee Trust Bank PLC and Zenith Bank PLC, to raise as much as $2 billion, and with foreign lenders and export credit agencies for the balance. He says the funds would go towards building the gas plant's 7th train, expected to boost output by 40%. Nigeria is joining nations including the US and Australia in increasing output of the fastest growing fossil fuel to help meet rising natural gas demand led by China. With the planned expansion, the NLNG's output is expected to reach 30 billion tons a year when completed in 5 years from the current 22 million tons. We'll take a short break now and return with activities on the stock market. Please stay tuned. The NSE opened this week on a negative note with a drop of 0.74% in the all-share index. Market capitalization of all listed equities also depreciated by 99 billion naira at the close of trading on the exchange floor, with Airtel Africa crumbling from the top gainers. Actually, Airtel, as of Friday, was leading the top gainers, and we see today leading the percentage laggards. And of course, we see that Airtel is closely followed by CAP, losing 1 naira 50 kobo in the value of its share price. Cement Company of Northern Nigeria and Dangote Cement also could not keep their heads above water. Interestingly, the market recorded more gainers today at the close of trading, with 25 versus 13 losers. Of course, we see here that Okomu Oil led the pack of gainers. It remains one of the most sought after by investors, with its share price appreciating by 4 naira and 50 kobo, while that of Guarantee rose by 95 kobo to close at 28 naira and 50 kobo. And moving on, Cadbury and Nigeria Breweries, both from the consumer goods sector, also saw their share prices increase by 90 and 45 kobo respectively. And in summary, over 271 million units of shares valued at 2.9 billion naira exchanged hands in 4,795 deals. And on the foreign scene, FTSE and Dow Jones in the reds, both falling following the devastating attacks on Saudi oil facilities. Nikkei markets gets a stock exchange holiday as Japan marks the respect for the Aged Day holiday. And that's it on business. It's back to you, Fidelia.
Well, thank you so much, Owen, for that review. It seems a bad day for Airtel, and news of it attempting to list on the London Stock Exchange still did not influence investors' confidence on that share.
Very correct.
Well, let's now move to the foreign scene. No fewer than 36 people are missing and feared drowned after a boat sank on the River Congo. The whaleboat, which is a flat-bottomed vessel used to transport people on lakes and rivers, was traveling to DR Congo's capital, Kinshasa, from Mai Ndombe province north of the city. Police said 76 passengers were rescued after the incident. The cause of the accident is not yet known, but it is likely that passengers were not wearing life jackets. A similar incident in India has left 39 people missing. Indian authorities have engaged in a long major search and rescue operation to find the missing persons. Algeria's interim president, Abdelkader Ben Salah, has announced that presidential election will be held in the country on December 12. The announcement comes after Army Chief General Ahmed Gaid Salah insisted that polls be held by the end of 2019, despite the opposition and protesters rejecting the vote. The polls, which were originally planned for July 4th, was postponed due to lack of viable candidates. Weekly mass demonstrations forced veteran President Abdulaziz Bouteflika to resign in April, leaving Algeria in constitutional limbo and standoff between the protesters and the army-backed government. And in sports, Manchester United goalkeeper David De Gea has signed a new contract to stay with the club until 2023. This was announced by the Premier League club, ending months of speculation over De Gea's future. For more than 2 years, United and De Gea were in negotiations over the new deal. De Gea has made 367 United appearances since he was brought to the club from Atletico Madrid in June 2017. He helped United win the Premier League title in 2012-2013 season, the FA Cup 3 seasons later, and built the League Cup and the Europa League in 2016-2017 season. For the Editor News now, many thanks for joining us. I am Fidelia Aguncha. Bye for now.